He's never fought us. Not us united.
Oh! I can so see that. That's it. Welcome to Comics League. I'm your host, Jared. We are talking about the Justice League animated episode called The Eclipse. I'm here with Nick from the Phoenix Press. How are you, brother?
I gotta say, this episode could not. We could not be covering this episode on a better day, given the kind of stuff we were talking about on Twitter earlier, and the feelings and whatnot.
Yes. So this episode introduces the DC villain Eclipso. That don't know, and this episode starts off with basically a special ops team in the Middle East trying to take out a dictator. Where have we seen that before? Speaking of really overhanded episodes.
Yeah, the more I watched this show, the more I realized just how topical it was and how much it was tied with the politics of the day. And if you aren't a student live through that period or well versed in it, you won't pick up on it.
But here's the thing about it is the show does it in a way that it doesn't seem underhand, too heavy handed on you. But anyway, so basically what happens that there's this crystal. We'll find out what happens with the crystal later. But it gets out and it basically inhabits the body of one of the soldiers. At the same time, we have the Justice Leaguers who are going about their daily lives. The Flash I love the Flash's little commercial where he's endorsing an energy bar.
Yeah, one thing that the thing that really intrigued me was the stuff with Godfrey and the way he was handling stuff. It really kind of rang thoroughly through me, the way that people tweet Twitter discourse or any online kind of discourse where it's they take the most salacious parts and give it the most worst faith reading of it they can.
Also, speaking of Godfrey, here's an interesting fact. So during his show, Godfrey refers to a book called The Innocent Seduced by a Dr. Frederick.
I picked up. Can I do this? Can I do it?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I picked up on that one.
Oh,
so good. in the trust me. In the 1950s, there was a book released called Seduction of the Innocent by, can you look that up for me? And then
Dr. Frederick Wortham.
Yeah, and basically it was comics bad. Also, I think this might be the origin of the Batman Robin gay thing.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And what's interesting, it's kind of funny. Godfrey says a lot of the arguments in that book, that there was a study that people who look up the superheroes grow up to be juvenile delinquents, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, he's pretty much bringing up all of the arguments raised in that book. Anybody who knows their comic history, as soon as it's a very obvious reference.
Because obviously they couldn't say seduction of the innocent because then they could get sued. But I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing there.
It falls into parody just enough to protect them.
And by the way, in this episode, the only Justice Leaguer who doesn't show up is Batman.
They definitely try to get him to show up.
They try to get him. I love where Flash is like, emergency, get over here. By the way, so this episode brings up an interesting point that I thought of when I was watching it today about how, so we normally, so with this series, particularly with the Flash, how he's portrayed in this series, they keep making him out like this joke character. Well, he looks like he's a joke, so you wouldn't really think much of him, but he saves the day many times in this show. Jeez. Particularly this one, and then one where they fight a Brainiac Lex Luthor, and everyone that has seen the clip.
Yes, especially when it synced up to a certain track from a certain good movie.
The best video that the Watchtower database ever made. So there you go. And so I really did really like. I love this episode series because of that, and I like how it plays off this. It's kind of like Secret Invasion in a way because you don't know who the bad guy is because the bad because the snake people, speaking of Alex Jones, the snake people that run the world inhabit the bodies of the.
They're turning the frogs gay.
I'm legit gonna title this episode "Flash versus the Snake People."
Oh my god! Yes.
Yes. So there you go. But I definitely do. So what we find out is that the snake people were at war with, I think it was ancient humanity or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then their bodies were, their spirits were like caught in the body in this purple crystal. Mm-hmm. And which that's pretty cool. I like that. I like how they basically roll with the whole Eclipso, because the way Eclipso, at least according to Justice League versus the Suicide Squad by Joshua Williamson, is that he's in the crystal. His spirit's in the crystal. Mm-hmm. And in the comics, here's an interesting fact. I don't know if you know this, Nick. Glorious Godfrey is actually a new god sent to Earth by Apocalypse who has the power and mind manipulation.
Yeah, Godfrey definitely sounds like an apocalyptian kind of name.
Yeah, he is responsible for trying to turn people. So you also have this in not just social media, but Godfrey really could represent the whole opinion news cycle.
I was literally talking about that earlier.
Yeah,
you know, like I mentioned how while the show is very topical, it also touches upon themes that are universal. Or honestly, the Godfrey portion of the show has aged remarkably well, I have to say.
Yeah, it definitely has. What you think of? So the way this episode goes is that I'm going to call it. So the snake people keep inhabiting the bodies of different Justice Leaguer, and you'll know which ones are inhabited because they'll start humming a tune. They'll start humming a jig, and then eventually, what's really cool is the person who was inhabited has no memory of what they did. So it's like Martian Manhunter. He is inhabited, but then all of a sudden he's like, I don't remember doing any of this. And I love where Hawkgirl hits the crystal, but the shards go out and get on everyone except for the Flash.
Yeah, like Flash is like, oh, bad idea.
No, he's like, no. And then he has to fight the entire Justice League, which again, Flash is a bit of a badass, but he's got to fight Martian Manhunter, Wonder Woman, and Superman, forgetting Hawkgirl for a moment.
The fact that he could hold his own in that situation, yeah,
which again, that's why, again, this is a very Flash-centric episode, I think, because it really deals with his real opinion of himself, because we noticed, what did you think of the Flash van?
Pretty much my reaction was the same as Green Lantern's. Like, you of all people, why do you need a van? It's like Spider-Man having the spider car that can walk up buildings.
They made a joke about that in the Crisis on Two Earths movies. Wonder Woman brings the invisible jet back from Earth 3, and then Flash goes, what do you have a jet for? You can fly. And then Green Lantern goes, you drive a car. And the Flash goes, that's the point. I love that. It's like,
he's the Flash. He is like the last person that needs a car.
Yeah. And what do you think of like Flash's like agent who's trying to get him all these endorsement deals? And he goes, try and get me in a room with the Amazon with the rope.
He was having thoughts that weren't appropriate for children's television.
Well, that would be appropriate to early Wonder Woman comics, because if you've seen what they had Wonder Woman do in those early comics,
maybe he wants to shoot a Super Wonder movie.
Hey, that's not nice.
Nor is it fair to you, but you know.
Yeah. So I also thought it was kind of funny. So with Mo Fear, who is the guardian that's supposed to stop the snake people, I think it's kind of funny. He reminds me a little bit of Gollum, how he keeps referring to himself in the third person.
I was getting Christopher Lloyd vibes from him.
Yeah, kind of. Let me see who plays him real quick, so I can see if
also,
maybe
the last scene of the two-parter.
Yeah, with his endorsement deal.
That was so great.
That was so good. I love that. I love that. I love that. This episode deals with a lot of really cool endorsement things. So what do you think about seeing the Rogues in this episode, by the way?
The Rogues?
They're in the commercial. It's like Captain Boomerang, Heatwave, Mirror Master.
Yeah. That was a treat.
And by the way, a few of those will be showing up in the Task Force X arc. Which, yes, there is a Suicide Squad arc, which I think that's in Justice League Unlimited. I'm pretty sure.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and then it says a box of energy bars appears among the supplies Superman salvages from Hereafter Part 2, which, okay, so Hereafter Part 2 is a future arc. I believe it's like 2 arcs away from where we are right now. Mm-hmm. But he gets a box of those energy bars is what I'm talking about. And then what's interesting is I'm looking up any other like big trivia here. We have here in the commercial for Lightspeed energy bars, the Flash says, "Thanks, yo." In this later episode, Secret Society, Clayface impersonating Flash says "yo" while talking to Batman, which tips Batman off that it was Clayface overplaying his. So there you go. And in terms of, I definitely felt I liked the action in the series. Now, let me ask you this: what do you think of the Flash running on Green Lantern's thing like a treadmill?
Kinda lore breaking, but I'll allow it.
I mean, Green Lanterns can fly pretty fast, but actually, in Blackest Night, the way they escape the Black Lantern rings is Hal used his ring to create a tether onto Barry, and Barry ran back in time. She was like, "Oh, yeah, exactly." But
like,
I mean,
it's like when you're walking your dog and your dog like smells something, and you're like, "Oh, whoa!"
But here's the fact from the comics. Superman claiming that even he can't fly at light speed is completely false. In the comics, Superman was hanging out in space near Vega, the brightest star in the Lyra constellation, and 24 light years away from Earth. And when Superman heard Jimmy Olsen's signal watch, he immediately arrived back to Earth within a matter of minutes by flying at 800 trillion miles per hour, which is over 1 million times the speed of light.
Yeah, but that's in the Silver Age, doesn't count.
That's in the Silver Age. And remember, in this show, they sort of weaken Superman to make him more of a to make the things he's facing more of threats.
Any of those crazy feats in the Silver Age do not count because that was like full of like, yeah.
The Silver Age, him carrying a solar system on a chain. That's where the comic starts, mind you.
Those do not count.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, when preparing his run towards the sun, Flash uses the term cosmic treadmill. In the comics, this refers to the actual time machine. What the treadmill does, Flash can still run back in time without the treadmill. The treadmill allows him to say, "I want to go to Earth such and such. I want to go to this point in time."
It's a focus.
It's a focus, essentially. Yes, thank you. And when Superman is under the influence of the Heart of Darkness and he burns the Flash with his heat vision, a dark, slower version of the Superman animated theme starts to play.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was really cool when Superman is able to hit the Flash with heat vision. It's kind of, when you think about it, I wonder if that scene in the Snyder Cut when Superman is going after Barry at super speed, I wonder if that was an homage to this.
Possibly.
Well, either way, I see similarities. The only thing it's missing, I wish Barry reacted the way movie Barry did when he's like, I just love that look of utter terror.
I have to say, I actually really like that moment because it's got it's got like such large oh crap moment energy.
Just the way it's to add on to that. He's running.
No, he's running, and then like Superman's like he turns slowly, like
no,
the
like eye turns first. The eyes turn first. He's like, and then the head turns. He's like, oh no.
I just love it. Because I love scenes that are just played silently and with facial expressions. Because like it's just a mark of like cinematography and acting, and I love it.
Yeah, there you go. By the way, General McCormick's gaudy costume is based on that of Eclipso. So the general that was in the costume, that is the Eclipso costume.
I figured. Also, Eclipso, you might be familiar with him because he showed up as a villain of Stargirl season 2.
Yes, exactly. It is that character. Essentially, it's just they DCAU'd him in that it's like the snake people. I just love this. Yeah, Flash versus the snake people. But the theme that plays when Godfrey's show cuts to a commercial break is a shorter, quicker paced version of the main theme of the Teen Titans episode Car Trouble. By the way, what did you think at the end of the episode where Godfrey has been completely discredited to the point where he's like or his live audience is just like a bunch of homeless people?
Schadenfreude.
Yeah, I love it.
But I will say, I feel like at least partially he does believe that he may have been wrong, but it's mostly like, oh crap, I'm getting discredited.
Yeah. By the way, Flash's reference to hard traveling heroes is possibly a reference to the story arc of the same name starring Green Lantern and Green Arrow. And Neil Adams. I have that storyline. I'm still reading it. It's so good. Speaking of doing politics right in pop culture.
Yeah, we need to do an Under Two Capes on that entire run. By God, Speedy, you're a junkie. Yeah,
and by the way, so on a tangent, I'll bring that up. The cover of the Speedy junkie thing, that was the way that got approved is Neil Adams just drew it, dropped it in front on his editor's desk and said, we should do this. And Julie Schwartz is like, duh. Because remember, the comics code said you can't have anyone use drugs. And
literally have him shooting up on the cover. Also,
yeah, exactly.
Like that run is it's pretty legendary. But like then you have like one of the most famous pages in comics. So like, hey, you help the Blueskins, you help the Redskins. Like I can't. Like that is like we've got to do.
Seriously, dude. About that. When I was doing my master's degree, I had a really, really, really cool political science teacher, and what she had me do a paper on the politics of comic books from like the beginning to now. I referenced that run a lot. That and the X-Men were like my main sources.
That isn't that run is an Under Two Capes episode waiting to be made.
Yep, 100%. Because for future Under Two Capes episodes, I do want to do more like run analyses of books, or that could be on our run show on my channel where we each select a run and just do that, because I think that would fit more there.
Also, for that, if you do make like the run show, you have to have run, Barry, run.
That's got to be something. Yes, exactly. Thank you. There you go. That may be a run CL run or something like that. I'm trying. No, it doesn't work. But
run, Jared, run.
Yeah. I know. We'll figure out a good title for that. But yeah, that's where I think. So the episode is basically Flash versus the Justice League in certain ways, and then again, fight snake people. So Alex Jones was right. I really just want to put the snakes. So that's what so essentially they want. Here's the other thing. So remember how I always critique Superman 4 for throwing nukes into the sun to solve the problem? They throw a wormhole generator in the sun. What? What? What the heck?
I got nothing.
I know. I'm like, what in the name of heck is this?
To be fair, they were evil and they were trying to destroy the sun.
No. Here's the thing. That's their plan to solve it. Because watch what it says here. The other Justice League members recover from the possession, but the threat to Earth the threat to life to all life on Earth still exists. And after a quick analysis, John concludes that the only way to reverse the damage to the sun is to create a wormhole near the stain that will drain away the anti-fusion matter. So create another wormhole in the sun.
Basically, what they did is they created a giant vacuum cleaner.
So Mega Maid, don't you say it. This has to be PG. I'm sorry, dude. You can't.
She went from blank to blank.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna reference that. The Star Destroyer has become dun 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 Mega Maid. That's no ordinary ship. It's a transformer.
Oh my god! I can't wait for movie night when we cover that one.
I thought we did cover Spaceballs.
Did we? We may have,
but because I have the merchandising clip in there.
Yeah. I think we need to do Robin Hood Men in Tights one of these days.
Oh hell yes! Lend me your ears. That is disgusting.
I mean, honestly, like we need to do Blazing Saddles. We need to do
Nick. Wait, I lost? I'm supposed to lose? Give me the script. And he's reading the script.
Oh my god, yes. Bro, don't get into a quote off with me on that film because that is a fight you will lose. I've watched Robin Hood Men in Tights so many times.
So Nick, is that your Zack Snyder's Justice League?
I've watched. Yes, I've watched.
Nick is gonna go into his StreamYard and download every clip from Red and Tights.
So long, auf Wiedersehen, Kintoka.
Achoo, bless you. Not you, achoo. That was such a good. But anyway, so off of Men in Tights.
Oh, Robin, you've lost your arms in battle, but you grew some rather nice melons.
All right, so Nick,
I censored that for you, brother.
Yeah, thank you. So Nick, how would you rate this arc?
A bit drafty in here.
How would you rate this arc?
I'd give it a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, it's awesome. The next one, okay. So the next arc, this is very important. Something is teased in the next episode. We know. I believe you know Starcross and everything like that. I want you to notice, pay attention to a lot of the dialogue in this episode, and you'll see something is hinted in that direction. And I want to see, this will be a game next week. I'll bring it up. I want to see if you catch it.
I gotta say, brother, I am just brimming with anticipation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And by the way, that next episode is going to be also introducing Dr. Fate into the DC, into the Justice League. He's been in DC.
Can I say?
Yeah,
I love the Dr. Fate's voice actor for the DC. I think Odie Fair has one of the most underrated voices in voice acting.
Mm-hmm. But by the way, just to confirm again, this is off topic. I want to say this: Constantine 2 is still happening. People thought it was dead. I just wanted to bring that up. We're still getting Constantine 2. Thank God. That's a movie we have to cover on Comics League.
I just hope they bring in Zatanna.
Oh, yes. Can you imagine if Keanu Reeves becomes the DCU Constantine?
Also, Alexander Daddario for Zatanna.
Yep, that works. I'm fine with that.
And plus, he's young-ish enough that, I think James Gunn might go for it.
Yes, okay. So next week's episode is going to be the Terror Beyond, which is also reintroducing Aquaman.
Oh, he's coming back. Cool.
But the badass Aquaman, not the weenie one from the Super Friends. Lad.
I hear you talk to fish.
You had to reference that version. So on that note, I give this a solid 8 out of 10. No, I give it a solid 9 out of 10 because it's awesome. I really don't have any real critiques for it, but it's super awesome. So again, the Terror Beyond is next week. On that note, we're going to call it. I hope you guys have a great week. Nick, always a pleasure, and stay heroic.